Have you ever woken up feeling empty, even when everything seems fine on the outside? Like there's a quiet storm inside you, whispering that something's missing. You're not alone. Millions of people chase happiness like it's a distant dream, a lucky break, a perfect job, or the right person. But what if I told you happiness isn't something you find? It's something you build. Happiness is a skill, and you can learn it. Welcome to Learn English from Tales, where we teach English through motivational stories and life lessons. We use simple, graded English to help you improve your language while discovering how to live a better life. If you're an intermediate English learner looking for inspiration, this is for you. Today, we're exploring happiness is a skill, and you can learn it. Imagine transforming your daily worries into moments of real joy, not by magic, but through practical steps anyone can take. You'll hear stories of ordinary people who learned this skill and changed everything. By the end, you'll see how you can do the same. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion, when I lose weight, when life slows down?" But waiting doesn't work. Happiness starts now with you. It's a muscle you train day by day. If this sounds like the motivation you need, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Let me ask you, are you ready to learn the skill of happiness? Because this journey could change how you see your world. Stick with me, and let's begin. Let me ask you something honest. How often do you catch yourself thinking, "I'll be happy when things get better"? When the weekend comes, when the bills are paid, when that person finally notices you, when you finally achieve the thing you've been chasing for years. You wait. You wait for happiness like it's a train that's always late. But here's the truth most people never hear. Happiness is not a destination. It's a skill. And just like any skill, playing guitar, cooking a good meal, speaking English, you get better at it the more you practice. Right now, you might feel stuck. Maybe life feels heavy. Maybe you smile on the outside, but inside there's this quiet ache that says, "Is this really it?" I've been there. Most people you admire have been there too. The problem is not your life. The problem is that no one ever taught us how to be happy. School taught us math. Parents taught us manners. Society taught us how to compare ourselves to others. But almost no one taught us how to train our minds to feel good. On purpose, even when life is messy. That changes today, because happiness is learnable. It's not about having everything perfect. It's about learning to feel peace, gratitude, and lightness, even when things are far from perfect. Let me tell you about Sarah. She was 34, working a job she didn't like, in a relationship that drained her, and every morning she woke up already tired. She kept saying, "I'll be happy when I get a better job." Then she got the better job, and the feeling lasted only 2 weeks. Then it was, "I'll be happy when I move to a nicer apartment." Same thing. The high would come, and then fade. Until one day she decided, "I'm done waiting. I'm going to learn how to feel good right now, even if nothing changes." That decision changed everything. Not because her life suddenly became perfect, but because she started treating happiness like a skill she could practice every single day. And you can do the same. You don't need more money. You don't need a new relationship. You don't need to be perfect. You need to learn the habits and ways of thinking that create happiness from the inside. Over the next 10 chapters, I'm going to share the exact skills that Sarah and thousands of others use to go from "I'm surviving" to "I'm actually enjoying my life." These are not fluffy ideas. They are practical, repeatable steps. Ready? Then let's begin. Chapter 1. Happiness begins with acceptance. Here is the first truth you need to hear. You cannot be happy fighting against reality. Most of your suffering does not come from what happens to you. It comes from arguing with what has already happened. You spill coffee on your shirt, you get angry. Someone cancels plans, you feel rejected. You don't get the promotion, you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough." The event is small. The story you tell about it is huge. Acceptance is not giving up. Acceptance is saying, this is what is right now. I don't have to like it, but I stop wasting energy pretending it shouldn't be this way. Imagine this. You're stuck in traffic. Instead of clenching the steering wheel and thinking this shouldn't be happening to me, you take a slow breath and say quietly, okay, traffic is here. I'm here. What can I do in this moment? Suddenly the anger loses power. You turn on music. You call a friend. Or you just sit and breathe. The situation didn't change, but you did. A man named David lost his job at 42. For weeks he was furious. This isn't fair. I worked so hard. Then one morning he decided, okay, I'm unemployed right now. That's the fact. He stopped fighting the fact and started asking better questions. What can I do today with the time I have? Within 3 months, he had a better job. And more importantly, he felt calm for the first time in years. The next time something frustrates you, pause and say out loud, or in your head, this is how it is right now. Then ask, what is one small thing I can do anyway? Acceptance doesn't mean you stop wanting change. It means you stop letting resistance steal your peace. This leads us to the next important truth. Chapter 2. Gratitude rewires your brain. Listen carefully. This might sound simple, too simple, but it is one of the most powerful happiness skills you will ever learn. Gratitude changes how your brain works. When you focus on what's missing, your mind becomes a complaint machine. You see problems everywhere. You feel heavy. But when you deliberately look for what is already good, even tiny things, your brain starts to notice more good things automatically. It's not magic. It's science. Gratitude literally strengthens the pathways in your brain that create positive feelings. Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow, and the first thing you do is name 3 things you're grateful for. Not big things like a mansion or $1 million. Small, real things. The warmth of the blanket. The smell of coffee. That your legs carried you out of bed. At first it feels strange. Maybe even fake. But after a week, something shifts. You start noticing more good moments without trying. Maria was always stressed. Single mom, 2 jobs, never enough time or money. She felt like life was punishing her. Then she started a tiny habit. Every night before sleep, she wrote down one thing that went well that day. Some days it was my son hugged me. Other days, I didn't burn dinner. After 2 months, she noticed she was smiling more. Not because her problems disappeared, because she stopped being blind to the good parts. Right now, pause this video. Think of 3 things you're grateful for in this exact moment. Say them out loud if you can. Do this every morning and every night for the next 7 days. No excuses, just 3 things. You don't have to feel grateful first. You feel grateful because you practice. This small habit alone can lift your baseline happiness more than a raise or a vacation. And that brings us to the next key skill. Chapter 3. Choose your focus. Where attention goes, energy flows. Here's a simple but life-changing truth. You don't feel the way life is. You feel the way you think about life. Your mind is like a spotlight. Every day you decide, mostly without noticing, where to point it. Point it at problems, complaints, what's wrong, what's missing, and you'll feel anxious, angry, or empty. Point it at possibilities, small wins, things you can control, and calm and hope start to grow. This is not positive thinking nonsense. This is attention training. Imagine this. You have a bad day at work. Your boss criticizes you. A colleague ignores your idea. You can spend the evening replaying every moment. Why did I say that? I'm such a failure. No one respects me. Or you can choose to shift the spotlight. I made a mistake, but I learned something. I still have a job. My family is waiting for me at home. I can try again tomorrow. Same day, different focus, completely different feelings. James was always the negative one in his friend group. He noticed every flaw in people, in plans, in himself. He felt exhausted all the time. Then he made a rule. For every negative thought he noticed, he had to find one neutral or positive fact about the same situation. It was hard at first, but after a few weeks, his default way of seeing the world began to change. He didn't become fake happy. He just stopped letting his mind run on the worst case channel 24/7. Catch yourself once today when you start complaining to yourself or others. Pause. Ask, what is one thing that is still okay in this situation? Say it, even if it feels small. Do this every time you notice a negative spiral. Where you put your attention is where your life energy goes. Choose wisely. This brings us to the next powerful skill. Chapter 4. The Power of Small Daily Wins. Here is something very important. Happiness is not built from giant victories. It is built from tiny, repeated actions. Most people wait for the big moment, the dream job, the perfect relationship, the day everything finally falls into place. But real, lasting happiness comes from stacking small wins every single day. When you finish one small thing you said you would do, your brain releases a little dopamine, the feel-good chemical. Do it again tomorrow, and the next day. Over time, these tiny releases add up and change your baseline mood. Imagine this. Instead of saying, I'll start exercising when I have more time, you decide, today I will walk for just 10 minutes. You do it. You feel a small spark of pride. Tomorrow you do it again. After a week, you don't even have to force yourself. It becomes normal. After a month, you feel stronger, clearer, more alive. Not because life became perfect, because you proved to yourself you can keep promises. Lisa felt like a failure. She had big goals but never followed through. She decided to start ridiculously small, make her bed every morning. That was it. One tiny win. But that one action reminded her, I can finish what I start. She added one more small habit each week. Drink a glass of water first thing, read 5 pages, stretch for 2 minutes. 6 months later, she had completely different energy. Not because her circumstances changed dramatically, because she changed how she saw herself. Pick one small thing you could do right now that feels good when it's finished. Examples. Drink a full glass of water. Write down one goal for tomorrow. Tidy one small area of your room. Do it today. Feel that tiny rush of I did it. Then do it again tomorrow. Small wins are the secret currency of happiness. They build self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of joy. This leads us to the next essential truth. Chapter 5. Stop overthinking. Start living. Let me tell you something important. Your mind is a powerful tool, but for many people, it becomes a trap. You think, plan, worry, replay the past, fear the future, and suddenly days pass without you really living them. Overthinking steals your happiness. It keeps you stuck in what if instead of what is. The skill here is learning to quiet the noise and step into action. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about deciding, think enough to decide, then move. Imagine this. You want to ask for a raise at work. You spend weeks overthinking. What if they say no? What if I sound greedy? What if I lose my job? The worry grows bigger than the actual conversation. Instead, you prepare 3 good reasons, practice once in the mirror, and just do it. Even if it's not perfect, you feel lighter because you acted. Tom was always planning his perfect life. He overthought every decision, career change, dating, even weekend plans. He felt paralyzed and unhappy. Then he set a rule. For any decision, think for 5 minutes max, then choose and act. At first it scared him, but soon he realized most disasters he imagined never happened. He started a side business, met new friends, and felt alive again. Notice when you're overthinking something. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Write down pros and cons quickly. Then decide and take one small action. No more endless loops. Action breaks the cycle. Living happens in the doing, not the thinking. This takes us to the next vital skill. Chapter 6. Build real connections. Happiness lives in relationships. Here is a truth that many people learn too late. No amount of money, success, or achievement can fill the emptiness of loneliness. Happiness grows strongest when you feel truly seen, heard, and loved by others. You don't need hundreds of friends. You need a few real ones. The skill is simple but powerful. Invest time and energy in the people who matter. Listen more than you speak. Show up when it counts. Be honest, kind, and present. Imagine this. You had a tough day. Instead of scrolling alone on your phone, you call a friend and say, "Hey, I'm having a hard time today. Can we talk?" They listen. They don't try to fix everything. They just stay with you. Suddenly the weight feels lighter. Not because the problem is gone, but because you're not carrying it alone. Priya was very independent. She thought she didn't need anyone. But deep down she felt isolated. One day, she decided to reach out. She started weekly coffee meetups with two old friends. Nothing fancy, just talking, laughing, sharing. Over time, she realized her happiest moments were not when she was alone winning awards, but when she was laughing with people who knew her real self. Pick one person you care about. Send them a simple message right now. "I was thinking about you. How are you really doing?" Or call them for 5 minutes. No agenda, just connection. Strong relationships are one of the biggest predictors of long-term happiness. Invest in them like you invest in your future. This brings us to the next important skill. Chapter 7. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Listen to me carefully. Most people are kinder to strangers than they are to themselves. When you make a mistake, what do you say inside your head? "I'm so stupid. I always mess up. Why can't I get this right?" Now, imagine saying those same words to a close friend who failed at something. You wouldn't. You would say, "It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. You tried your best. You'll do better next time." The happiness skill here is learning to give yourself the same warmth, understanding, and patience you naturally give others. Self-compassion is not self-pity. It is not making excuses. It is treating yourself like someone who deserves care, especially when you're struggling. Imagine this. You had a bad day. You shouted at your child, skipped your workout, or ate junk food. Instead of beating yourself up for hours, you pause and say quietly, "I'm human. I'm having a hard moment. What do I need right now to feel a little better?" Maybe it's a glass of water, a short walk, or just a deep breath. The shame disappears. The energy to try again returns. Emma used to be her own worst critic. Every small failure felt like proof she was worthless. She was exhausted from constant self-attack. Then she started a simple practice. When she noticed harsh self-talk, she would place her hand on her heart and say, "This is hard right now. May I be kind to myself." It felt awkward at first, but over weeks, the inner voice softened. She started recovering from setbacks faster and felt lighter every day. The next time you criticize yourself, stop. Put your hand on your chest, even if you're alone. Say these 3 sentences out loud or silently. This is a moment of suffering. Suffering is part of life. May I be kind to myself. Repeat until the harshness eases. Being kind to yourself is not weakness. It's strength, and it opens the door to real, sustainable happiness. This leads us to the next powerful truth. Chapter 8. Let go of what you cannot control. Here is a truth that can set you free. Most of your stress and unhappiness comes from trying to control things that are not yours to control. Other people's opinions, the weather, what happened yesterday, what might happen tomorrow. The past is already written. The future is not here yet. The only place you have real power is right now. The skill of happiness includes learning to gently release your grip on everything else. Imagine this. You send an important message to someone you care about. They don't reply for hours. Your mind starts racing. They're angry. They don't like me anymore. I said something wrong. You feel tight, anxious, small. Now imagine instead, you notice the worry rising, and you say quietly, I sent the message. That's all I can do. Their response is not in my hands. You breathe. You move on with your day. The tightness fades. You feel lighter even before they reply. Mark was a chronic worrier. He worried about his adult children's choices, his boss's mood, even the economy. He felt exhausted from carrying everyone else's life. Then he started a daily practice. Every morning he wrote down 3 things he could control that day: his attitude, his effort, his kindness, and 3 things he had to let go: others' reactions, unpredictable events. Over time, he stopped fighting battles he could never win. His peace grew. His relationships improved because he stopped trying to control them. When you feel stressed or upset, pause and ask yourself 2 questions. 1. Is this something I can actually control right now? 2. If not, what can I control instead? Write the answers if you can. Then say out loud or silently, I release what I cannot change. Feel the weight lift, even just a little. Letting go is not weakness. It is wisdom, and it creates space for real joy to enter. This brings us to the next essential skill. Chapter 9. Find meaning in your days. Purpose fuels joy. Let me ask you a direct question. What makes you feel alive? Not just busy, but truly alive. Many people chase happiness through comfort, more rest, more entertainment, more distractions. But real, deep happiness comes from having a sense of purpose. Something bigger than yourself that pulls you forward. Purpose is not always a grand mission like saving the world. It can be small, helping your family, creating something beautiful, learning a new skill, or making someone smile every day. The skill here is to connect your daily actions to something meaningful. Imagine this. You're at work, doing a routine task that feels boring. Instead of thinking, this is pointless, you remind yourself, this job lets me support my loved ones. It teaches me patience. It's a step toward my bigger goal. Suddenly the same task feels different. Not exciting every moment, but meaningful. And meaning brings quiet joy. Anna felt lost after retirement. Days blurred together with no direction. She was comfortable but unhappy. Then she started volunteering at a local library, reading stories to children twice a week. It wasn't glamorous, but seeing their faces light up gave her purpose. She woke up excited again. Her happiness returned, not from relaxation, but from contributing. Take 5 minutes right now. Ask yourself, what is one thing that matters to me deeply? It could be family, growth, kindness, creativity. Then link one action today to that purpose. For example, I'll cook dinner with care because it shows love to my family. Notice how it changes your energy. Purpose is the fuel that turns ordinary days into fulfilling ones. Without it, even success feels empty. This takes us to the final key skill. Chapter 10. Make happiness a daily practice, the habit that lasts. Here is the final and most important truth. Happiness is not a feeling that arrives one day and stays forever. It is a practice you choose every single day. The people who seem naturally happy are not luckier than you. They're simply better at practicing the skills we've talked about. They accept reality. They notice what's good. They focus their attention wisely. They stack small wins, act instead of overthink, connect with others, treat themselves kindly, let go of control, and live with purpose. None of them do it perfectly. They just do it consistently. Imagine this. A year from now, you look back and realize you're not waiting for happiness anymore. You wake up and, before anything else, You choose one small gratitude, one kind thought about yourself, one tiny action that matters. You catch yourself when you start overthinking or comparing and gently redirect. You reach out to people. You let go of yesterday's mistakes and tomorrow's worries. Little by little, the heavy days become lighter. The quiet joy becomes normal. Robert was 50 and felt like life had passed him by. He started small, 5 minutes of gratitude each morning, one kind message to someone each day, and letting go of one thing he couldn't control every evening. No big changes at first, but after 6 months, his wife said, "You're different. You seem lighter." He wasn't faking it. He had trained himself into happiness. Create your own 5-minute happiness reset. Example routine. 1. Name 3 things you're grateful for. 2. Say one kind sentence to yourself. 3. Decide one small meaningful action for the day. 4. Breathe deeply and release something you're holding on to. Do this every morning. When life gets hard, do it again in the evening. This is not about being perfect. It's about showing up for yourself consistently. You now have the tools. The rest is practice. Close your eyes for a second. Take a slow, deep breath. Now picture this. 1 year from today, you wake up not with dread, not with that heavy feeling in your chest, but with a quiet warmth inside. The alarm goes off, and instead of hitting snooze and groaning, you smile a little. You lie there for a moment and think, "I'm here. I am alive. Today is mine to shape." You get out of bed. You notice the sunlight coming through the window. You feel grateful for it. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've trained yourself to see it. You speak kindly to yourself in the mirror. You're doing your best. That's enough. You send a quick message to someone you love, thinking of you today. You take one small step towards something that matters to you. And all of this feels normal now. The old version of you, the one who waited, who overthought, who fought reality, who criticized every move, still exists somewhere in the background. But he's quieter now. He doesn't run the show anymore. You've accepted that life will always have hard moments. You've learned to stop waiting for permission to feel good. You've built real connections instead of hiding behind screens. You've let go of battles you were never meant to win. You've stacked small wins until self-trust became your new foundation. You've chosen meaning over distraction. And day after day, you've practiced. And look at you now. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because you became someone who knows how to carry lightness even when the load is heavy. This is not a fantasy. This is what happens when you decide, really decide, that happiness is a skill worth learning. Not tomorrow, not when everything is sorted. Right now, in this moment, with this breath, you already have everything you need inside you. The tools are in your hands. The only question left is, will you use them? Because the truth is, you deserve to feel alive. You deserve to wake up and actually want the day ahead. You deserve peace that doesn't depend on perfect conditions. And it starts today, not with a big dramatic change, but with one small, brave choice. Choose it. And here we are. You've just walked through 10 powerful, practical skills that turn happiness from something you chase into something you create. You don't need to be perfect at any of them. You just need to start. One small choice at a time. One breath at a time. One kind thought at a time. Listen to me carefully. You can do this. Not because you're special or lucky, but because you're human. And every human being has the capacity to learn this skill. Right now, in this exact moment, you are already capable of feeling more peace, more lightness, more real joy than you felt yesterday. All it takes is deciding to practice today. So here's what I want you to do. Pause this video for a second. Take one deep breath and say to yourself, out loud if you can, I choose to practice happiness starting now. Feel that? That tiny spark of intention? That's where it begins. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. It means the world that you're here, learning English and growing your life at the same time. You're not just watching videos, you're investing in yourself. And that is beautiful. If this story touched you, if it gave you even one new idea or one moment of hope, please do 3 small things for me. 1. Hit that like button so more people can find this message. 2. Subscribe to Learn English from Tales and turn on the bell so you never miss a new story. We have more life-changing tales coming, ones that will keep helping you improve your English while lifting your spirit. 3. In the comments below, write one thing you're going to practice this week. Maybe it's 3 gratitudes every morning. Maybe it's letting go of one worry. Share it. We read every comment, and it inspires us to keep creating. You've got this. I believe in you. And I'll see you in the next tale very soon. Until then, keep practicing, keep choosing, keep growing. Take care, and remember, happiness is a skill, and you're already learning it.